Okay, so someone owes you money, and you're probably dreading the thought of hiring an attorney and spending an absolute fortune just to get it back, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are completely demystifying the Wisconsin small claims court system. It's a surprisingly powerful, highly effective tool that actually empowers you to resolve disputes and claim exactly what you are owed entirely without a lawyer.
When you actually dive into the state's legal guides, it's pretty fascinating. You'll see that Wisconsin specifically designed this entire small claims process to be accessible, incredibly inexpensive, and just downright effective for everyday people. By the end of our time together today, you're going to have a highly actionable step-by-step understanding of exactly how this whole system works.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll hit Wisconsin small claims basics, then move into preparing your strong case, filing and serving forms, navigating the court hearing, post-judgment collection actions, and finally wrap up with resources and our legal disclaimer.
Let's jump right into Part 1, Wisconsin Small Claims Basics, understanding the rules and limits.
So, before you file a single piece of paperwork, you absolutely need to know if your dispute even belongs here. Small claims is a way quicker and much less formal venue than regular civil court, but it's built for very specific types of cases. If you're looking at general claims for money, like an unpaid debt or a breach of contract, the absolute maximum you can sue for is $10,000. But if you're dealing with a tort action, think personal injury or property damage, that limit actually drops down to $5,000. Now, interestingly enough, for evictions and certain property recovery cases, there is literally no dollar limit at all in Wisconsin small claims. Oh, and here's a massive perk. Wisconsin gives you a very generous 6 years to file for breach of contract or property damage. To put that into perspective, a 6-year window for property damage is unusually long compared to neighboring Midwestern states. Now check this out. There's a fascinating strategic difference in how you can actually frame your claim. Let's say you've got property damage. If it stems from a standard tort, like somebody negligently backs their car into your fence, you are strictly capped at that $5,000 limit. But if that exact same property damage happens because of a breach of contract, say a construction contractor wrecks part of your home while working under a signed agreement, you can actually use that higher $10,000 limit. Honestly, just knowing how to properly classify your case is a massive early advantage.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, preparing your strong case, due diligence and evidence.
Here's the real secret of small claims court. Cases are almost always won or lost long before you ever step in front of a judge. Thorough pre-suit due diligence is absolutely everything. Your very first move? Send a formal demand letter via certified mail, and make sure you request a return receipt, at least 30 days before you file your suit. Lay out the exact amount they owe you, the legal reason why, and give them a clear deadline. Judges really want to see that you made a genuine, good faith effort to work things out of court. Next up, gather up all your evidence. We're talking contracts, invoices, receipts, and listen, this is absolutely crucial when it comes to digital evidence like text messages or photos. Print them out. Seriously, court commissioners are not going to awkwardly scroll through your personal phone during a hearing. Finally, live by the rule of 3. Make 3 physical copies of every single exhibit. 1 for the judge, 1 for the defendant, and 1 for your own records. Let's head into Section 3, filing and serving forms, initiating the lawsuit. Once you've got all your evidence totally dialed in, you'll want to track down Form SC-1620V. This official basic steps document is essentially your ultimate cheat sheet. It guides you perfectly on how to accurately fill out your main document, which is the SC-500 summons and complaint form. That SC-500 is the big one. It's the official paperwork that legally summons the defendant to court. And I have some absolutely fantastic news for you. $22. Yep, that is the base filing fee for a small claims lawsuit in a Wisconsin circuit court. I mean, that is literally one of the lowest filing fees in the entire country. When you realize that folks in neighboring states are sometimes paying hundreds of dollars just to get their foot in the door, you see just how incredibly accessible Wisconsin's legal system really is for the average person. So let's break down the exact filing mechanics. Step 1, file that SC-500 form in the correct county. Now, this has to be the county where the defendant lives, where they do business, or where the actual claim arose. Step 2, pay your $22 filing fee. Step 3, you have to legally serve the defendant. That basically just means making sure they get a formal copy of the lawsuit. Wisconsin makes this super easy and cheap. You can usually just have the clerk mail it via first-class mail, which adds maybe $5 to $15 per defendant. Quick pro tip though, if the person you're suing is actively dodging the mail, you might need to pivot and hire a private process server to make sure they are legally notified. Also, you can do all of this in person at the clerk of court's office, or just do the whole shebang online using the Wisconsin e-filing system, which covers all 72 counties.
All right, Section 4, Navigating the Court Hearing, your day in court.
So, the paperwork's filed, the defendant is served. What's next? Well, the procedure here is intentionally simplified because it's completely designed for people representing themselves. Here is the typical timeline you're looking at. After filing, your very first appearance is called the return date. That's usually scheduled about 30 days out. Think of it as a quick check-in. Get this, if the defendant fails to show up or answer on this return date, you can immediately request a default judgment, which means you just win, automatically. But if they do show up and decide to contest your claim, the court will then schedule a formal trial date, usually another 30 to 60 days after that. When your actual trial date finally rolls around, here are your absolute keys to success. First off, be punctual. Show up on time and dress professionally. It really shows the court you take this seriously. Remember those 3 physical copies of all your printed exhibits we talked about earlier? Bring them. Practice your presentation beforehand and try to anticipate what the judge might ask you or what kind of defenses the other side might throw out there. But above all else, maintain a calm, highly respectful demeanor. Never interrupt the judge, and whatever you do, don't argue directly with the defendant. Address all your words solely to the judge.
Let's look at Section 5, Post-Judgment Collection Actions, Getting Your Resolution.
Okay, so this is an absolutely crucial point to understand. Getting that judgment from the judge, that is only half the battle. A judgment is basically just a piece of paper legally declaring that they owe you the money. The court doesn't just automatically hand you a check on your way out. If the losing party stubbornly refuses to pay up voluntarily, you have some very powerful legal tools to force their hand. The most common one is garnishment. This lets you legally collect the owed funds right out of the debtor's wages or directly from their bank accounts. You'd kick this off by filing an earnings garnishment form, specifically Form SC 6070V. You can also file for an execution against their personal property. Don't worry, the system has really clear step-by-step forms to walk you through all these post-judgment actions too.
Finally, Section 6, Resources and Legal Disclaimer, Next Steps and Protection. As we start to wrap this up, please know that you do not have to figure all this out completely alone. Many counties, like Milwaukee County for example, have dedicated court self-help centers. They have specific walk-in hours where you can get free in-person assistance understanding these forms. Plus, you can find all the necessary documents, basic guides, and that super handy e-filing portal online at wiscourts.gov. Seriously, don't hesitate to lean on these court-provided resources. They are there specifically to help you navigate this stuff. Now, before we let you go, a quick, standard disclaimer. This explainer is strictly for informational purposes. It's here to empower you with a solid structural knowledge of how this system works. But it is absolutely not a substitute for professional legal advice. Every single case is totally unique. So if you ever feel stuck, you should always consult a real legal professional for specific guidance on your exact situation. And with that, we've walked through the whole process. You now understand the dollar limits, how to do the crucial pre-suit evidence gathering, just how affordable filing really is, exactly how to act on court day, and how to actually enforce a collection if you win. The system was quite literally built for you. You've got the facts, the structure is laid out right in front of you. So, the only question left is, are you ready to finally claim what you're owed? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer today, and best of luck out there.